Well, welcome back into the mid-Norfolk garden here. We are going to show you today a little bit of care that you can apply to your hollyhocks. We've been asked a few questions over the season how you care for these plants. And hollyhocks are usually referred to or classified as a biennial plant, but certainly here in the south of England we find that they are a short-lived perennial, and many of the plants will overwinter perfectly well without any additional protection, and they'll take quite a few degrees of frosts. The plant we're going to use for demonstration is this one in front of us. It's probably a 2 or 3 year old plant, and you'll see these large spikes which are the dead stems, the flowering upright stems from last season. There's 3 of them here. They've been cut back when we've removed these at the end of last season, but now you can see that they're still very adherent to the crown here, and we've got new fresh growth already starting to emerge from around the crown and these new shoots coming out. But if we have a look down, we can also see some work that needs doing to try and reduce the amount of rust that affects these plants. You can see on this stem the remnants of rust and some spores around here. Let me see if I can get close in to show you what they look like. There you go, those little brown dots are rust disease, and what we want to do on this plant is try and tidy up this crown to remove as much of that infected material and just leave the healthy new growth to basically debulk those spores and try and prevent the onset of rust for as long as possible during the next season. So what I'm going to do is come in with a pair of snips. It's important when you are reducing these plants not to pull on these crowns. If I were to pull hard laterally or straight up on these, I'd likely snap this whole top off from the root. They're still quite strong, and you need a good strong pair of snips to come in and remove these growths. Cutting back to just above where the new shoots are coming from, and I'm also going to remove any growth that shows any sign of rust infection on it. And then what I'm also going to do is remove any loose or dead material from around the bases and just refill in with some gravel. So I'll finish off this plant and then come back and show you the finished result. Okay, so there's the finished plant. We've just removed any of the diseased leaves, anything that's looking a bit scraggy, isn't fresh growth, tidied away any dead material that's sitting on the surface, and then we've just redressed around the base of the plant with some fresh green gravel, and that is ready to grow away now. And what we'll find is these leaves sit doing very little for about another month to 6 weeks, and by the end of February, beginning of March, these really start to grow into big crowns with the large leaves starting to emerge and grow on. And then a couple of weeks after that, you'll start to see the new upright flowering spikes emerging from the top of the big bunch of leaves that are formed on top of each of these plants.